Hello and welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Today I'm covering a stock. The ticker for the stock is CVM. It's a pharmaceutical stock. They're working on an experimental drug, and we're going to talk about why the stock rose 45% today, and we're going to talk about how much the institutional banks are holding for the stock, what is the cash flow, what is the balance sheet for the stock, and what is the most important part, what is the short interest on the stock, because that's very important for these stocks that are not very high in terms of the volume and things like that, and small companies. So we need to really know how much the short interest is before anybody can make a decision on the stock, how they're going to play the stock. So look, if you're new to the channel, please do consider subscribing to the channel. I release it every day. I cover a different aspect of the company and the stock and the chart, and the objective here is to give all the information we can and to be able to invest and make money potentially, right? So the catalyst that broke out, which caused the stock to go higher than normal, it's basically, as I said, they're working on a clinical trial for a drug called Multikine, and they have a private meeting. Some sources said they have a private meeting set up internally to discuss on a possible press release date. And that's the anticipation, right? They might think that they come out with the drug, saying that the drugs, the last stages of the drug experiment were successful. Whatever the case is, last June they came out and said that they could not reach endpoint for the drug for the neck and the head cancer, which caused the stock to plummet in last June. So this is a catalyst that came out that they have an internal meeting, which will possibly give us a press release date for their drug. Okay, so just keep an eye out for this stock on Thursday. EPS is negative 0.92, which means that they're not very profitable right now. So 52 weeks high, it's $3. The lowest it got to $3.15. The highest it went is $27.86. As far as the total assets are concerned, all these numbers that you see here are times by 1,000. Which means that 75,000 is actually 75 million in their total assets. Liabilities about 19 million, and the stockholder equity is about 56 million. So the balance sheet looks okay. It doesn't look that bad. In terms of the cash flow, operations negative 18 million, which means their daily operations are not making a lot of money. Their expenses about negative 15 million. However, they did raise a lot of money from stocks and all, which is about 54 million. So the end position for the cash is about 36 million, which is what they have on hand. As far as the institutionals are concerned, they hold about 36% ownership in the stock, and 50 of those institutional firms have gained their, increased their position by 1.8 million. 48 of them sold out of the position, 2.4 million. That could be because, as we talked about last year, the drug did not meet the requirement, and because of the stock plummeted. And however, if you see the new position on the bottom of the screen, it says 674,000 were increased by 17 firms, and 20 of them sold out 205,000. So as far as the new positions are concerned, there's an increase here. As far as the overall increased position is about 1.8, and the decrease is 2.4. So there's a lot more selling than the buying happened, but they do own 36%. So that is something to consider. There are two firms, analysts like EF and Zacks Small Cap. These are two firms that recommended as a strong buy, but these could be biased toward that because there's also some conflict of interest there. So as far as the short interest is concerned, that's where the concern I had is about 17% is the short interest on the stock, and they have about 10 days to cover this. Now that's concerning, right? Anything above 6, 7, I think it's because when you see a growth like this, the stock goes up like this, mostly they are shorted, which means that they are borrowing the stock and selling it in the market, and investors like institutional retail investors will go ahead and buy it, and then they would eventually, the stock is not going to sustain the growth and is going to start dipping again, and they will go ahead and but repurchase from the market and sell it, and they have about 10 days to cover that stock. Okay, so let's talk about the chart. Okay, so see how the stock went up, and it did not go to the previous resistance from last few months ago, which was $7.12. It reached about around $6.14, and then there's a major dip here. So what happened is they borrow the stock, they sell it. They would eventually sell few to cause a little bit of concern, and the retail investor it's like a domino effect. Once you start seeing the selling happens, the stock price drops, and a lot of investors, new investors will get worried about losing the money, so they will start coming out of the position, which will eventually cause, the whole thing to start collapsing. Okay, so here's I have a Fibonacci retracement on here, which is pretty much dipping down to 61.8%. Now, how potentially somebody could play this is wait for that Thursday when they have a private meeting set up, and hopefully you could probably see another spike and you could get it. But as far as the indicators are concerned, EMA is saying the stock is moving upward, but you can see it's clearly 30-minute chart is coming down. RSI, however, is going down, which showing that there's it's dropping in terms of the relative strength index is not moving above 70. Anything above 70 means stock is overbought. Anything below 30, stock is oversold. And when you start declining, it means that the stock is coming down. Now, as far as the MACD is concerned, MACD is a moving average conversion diversion, which shows that stock was up, but it looks like there's a slight bend coming now. We'll have to see, but I think it's going to go back to its normal levels, which is around $3 or so eventually, and then you might see another spike. So if you want to play along with this, my recommendation is wait till the stock drops again, and then you see if they start picking up again, you could potentially get in and get out of that position. As I said, if you're not a day trader, anybody could do 3 trades per week. Every brokerage app gives you 3 trades per week. That's the SEC rule. That if you're not a day trader, which means that you have to have $25,000 in your margin account. If you don't have $25,000 in your margin account, you can still do 3 trades per week. So you could definitely potentially when, let's say for example on Thursday they come out with a new catalyst and you see the stock's price rise again, there's definitely a resistance here now, $6.14. Whoever bought it here would essentially want to be able to make some money here, or at least whatever, not lose any money. So usually what happens is when there's a resistance right here, when the stock goes back up, there's going to be a lot of limit order kick in to sell the stock, and you'll see the stock start falling again. The reason I say this because this was intentional. I think this is mostly were shorted. This 13 million shares were here, but I think mostly are shorted because they did not reach the resistance. There's nothing here that would kick in, or there would be any limit order kicking in, or whatever the case is. It's essentially, this is just, they take their profit, whatever, 45% or 30% or whatever the case is, and then the stock price will start dropping. So that's why I say that this growth right here seems very outlier type growth. I don't think this is a sustainable growth. However, but there's always money to be made on stocks, right? So you could potentially see it go back and sort of repeat and rinse, right? Like when it start going back up again on Thursday, when the catalyst's out there now, you could potentially get in. But that again, nothing is a financial advice. This is just me giving you a strategy that I would do. But essentially, this is what it is. There's a catalyst that broke out, the stock went up a little bit and then started declining. So just be aware of the short interest is really high on this. Be aware of the stock before you put any money in it. Definitely watch for the catalyst on Thursday. See how they come out with it. And if you can see you could catch a momentum on upward direction, then do it. And then just get out of the position when you see starting to dip. That was my video for today. I hope you guys liked it, and I will be making more videos. If you are not subscribed, please do consider subscribing and do like the button. Do like the videos. It gives me a lot of motivation to make these videos and bring it to you all. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video.